Welcome, I'm Todd Robbins. This is August 8th, and some dreadful things happened on this day in the past. Here's just a few of them. In 1976, John Rosselli was found dead. He was known as a mob boss in New York City, and actually in Las Vegas. He played quite a role out there, and he was found in a large metal barrel off the coast of Florida, floating around there. Yeah. He had done a number of things. He double-crossed the mob, and apparently that's what led to his demise, though he's best known for being the man that the CIA hired to try to kill Fidel Castro. That didn't happen. That didn't work out. So he died on this day in 1976. On this day in 2004 was the death of an iconic actress, Fay Wray, known for the scream that was heard around the world as she, in that famous movie of hers, glimpsed for the first time on screen her co-star, King Kong, and let out that shriek. She died at the age of 96. On this day in 2007 was the death of a fellow known as Joy Bubbles. He was a savant, a strange fellow who had absolute pitch. He was blind, and during the 1970s and 80s, he actually even earlier than that, he discovered he could hear the tones on a phone line, and there were phones that these mechanical tones, these notes were sent over the lines to open up long distance frequency, long distance lines, so you can make long distance calls. And he discovered he was a wonderful whistler, and because of his absolute pitch, his perfect pitch, he could hit the same notes by whistling into the phone and get free long distance phone calls. And when he was in college, he would charge his student friends $1 to make long-distance phone calls when they wanted to call their families. He would whistle into it, open up a line, and get a free long-distance call. He was arrested for doing that kind of thing, and he also later on he founded a movement in which he intentionally regressed to the age of 5 years old, even though he's much older, and insisted he was just a child again, and that's why he took the name Joy Bubbles. He died on this day in 2007. On this day in 1946, a man by the name of James W. Lewis was born. He was a convicted extortionist. In 1982, a panic went out in Chicago and across the country because some people had taken Tylenol, which was in these little capsules, and someone had laced the capsules with poison in Chicago. And several people died, and that's why we have all of the security packaging these days. Everything is because of what happened in 1982, make the tamper-proof seals and things like that. Well, James Lewis had nothing to do with that, but he sent to Johnson & Johnson, the maker of Tylenol, an extortion threat. And if he wasn't paid a large amount of money, that there would be continued deaths. I know, Melvin will tell you, it was a terrible thing. That's one of the 4 Pomeranians of the apocalypse there, growling. Anyway, so he was caught and arrested, and he was trying to make a buck off of other people's suffering. Isn't that such an American thing to do? Speaking of an American thing to do, in 1854, Smith & Wesson patents the metal bullet cartridge, the bullet as we know it today. There goes the neighborhood. And on this day in speaking of there goes the neighborhood, on this day in 1953, the Soviet leader Gregory Malakov reports that Russia has the hydrogen bomb. And that's why we can't have nice things. On this day in 1973, the Vice President of the United States, Spiro T. Agnew, says the reports that he took kickbacks are damn lies. That he was involved in a kickback scheme with government contractors in Maryland. Damn lies. And he said he would never resign. 3 months later, he resigned. On this day, in 1974, his boss, the U.S. President of the United States, Richard Nixon, announces he will resign the following day at 12 noon. On this day in 1979, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein, you might remember him, he executes 22 of his political opponents. That's one way of doing it. On this day, speaking of Saddam Hussein, in 1990, Iraq annexes Kuwait and claims it as its 19th province. On this day in 1992, James Hetfield of Metallica suffered second and third degree burns during a pyrotechnic explosion on stage at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal during a performance. And the crowd watched this, and so many of them looked at it and went, awesome. So on this day in 2014, the West African Ebola outbreak is categorized as an international concern by the World Health Organization. People took it seriously, took precautions, and not everyone died from it. Not everyone had died because people did the right thing at that time. And to finish off here, let's talk about popular culture for a little bit, shall we? A little glimpse back into the good old days. On this day in 1960, the greatest musical composition ever. Or you might think, oh, you're talking about Beethoven, Mozart. No, not at all. On this day, the number one hit is Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. Greatest song ever. Actually, up for grabs is the song that was released on this day in 1963 by the Kingsmen, a song called Louie, Louie, which radio stations refused to play because even though they didn't understand what the hell it was all about, they thought it was obscene. Go figure. Well, there you go, and there you have it. If you've enjoyed this video, by all means, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification little bell there so that you'll be warned when the next video is unleashed. That is assuming you survive all the awful, dreadful things that will be happening to you on this day. And if you do survive, I hope you'll be back here with me tomorrow. And if you don't survive, well, do me a favor, if you would. If you have the opportunity as you're dying there, let's make it interesting, shall we? And with your last breath, make your last words to whoever there is, motion to them, if you can, motion to them and say, there's something you need to know. And then close your eyes and die. Always keep them guessing. Yes. Well, once again, I'm Todd Robbins, and good luck.